Okay, we're all set.
Okay, pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 38, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Sturbridge Board of Selectmen will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information in the general guidelines for remote participation can be found on the town's website at www.sturbridge.gov/town-access-virtual-meeting. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen and/or watch the meeting either online via the town's on-demand video broadcast on cable television or on channel 191, or dial into the meeting at 774-304-1455, enter 1428 pound for the meeting number and 12345 for the access code. This phone number is only active for the public during public meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post audio and/or video recordings, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings on the town's website as soon as possible after the meeting. Okay. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, on the agenda this evening, we have board reorganization, public service announcement, moment of silence. 6:35, we have a public hearing for a logging permit on Ladd Road. 7 p.m., we have a public hearing, amendment of liquor license, the Thai Place, department reports, fire, police, town administrator. We have action items, including the annual reappointments, consideration, possible action on the farmers market, adjustment to restrictions, consideration and possible action on revised tax increment financing agreement with New England Cold Storage Incorporated, consideration and possible action on the schedule adjustment for the July 4th holiday, consideration and possible action on the expenditure of $10,174 from the Wetlands Protection Fund, consideration and possible action on the renewal of injured on duty insurance for the Sturbridge Police and Fire Departments for fiscal year 21. Consideration and possible action on approving a 1/12 budget for fiscal year 2020. And we have old business, new business, correspondence, approval of minutes, citizens forum, and then we will adjourn. So, Jeff, I need to turn the meeting over to you for reorganization.
Okay, thank you. With the past election, now it's time to reorganize the board. Is there nominations for chair of the Sturbridge Board of Selectmen? Mary Dowling.
I'll make a nomination. I'll nominate Mary Blanchard. I think she's been doing a very fair job.
Okay,
This is Mike, and I'll second that motion.
there's a motion and a second. Any other nominations for the position of chair of the Board of Selectmen? Hearing no further nominations, with a motion by Mary Dowling and a second by Mike Suprenant, can I have a vote for chair? Mary Dowling.
Yes.
Mike Suprenant,
Yes.
Ian Dunnigan,
Yes.
Chase Kabinski,
Yes.
Mary Blanchard.
Yes.
Congratulations, Mary. I'll let you continue the reorganization.
Okay, I would like to thank the board for your confidence. Okay, Vice Chair, are there any nominations?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Mary Dowling for vice chair. Mike?
Second, Chase.
Okay. Okay, any other nominations? Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Yes, and thank you, Mike and Chase.
Okay, Chase, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mike, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, next we have nominations for clerk. Mary?
I'll nominate Mike Suprenant for clerk.
Second, Chase.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Mary, yes.
Ian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chase, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mike, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, and I vote yes. Okay, so public service announcement. Do you have any, Mike?
No, I don't.
Okay, Chase,
I have none.
Ian,
No.
Mary?
I just have one very brief one. As some of us are aware, on June 4th, there was a peaceful demonstration on our town common protesting racial injustice. I want to thank the organizers of this event, who are local residents, participants, and our police department. They worked together rather than at odds. There was no violence, no destruction. It was a meaningful way to honor the sanctity of those Black lives that were tragically lost, including George Floyd. The event, to me, exemplified what the First Amendment is all about, and the Sturbridge community should be very proud of that event. Yeah.
Okay, and I have nothing. Okay, next we have a moment of silence, please, for all those affected by the COVID virus. Okay, thank you.
Mary,
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yep,
May I just say,
Mary,
I know our chair at our last meeting, it wasn't a regularly scheduled one, welcomed Ian board, and thanks Priscilla. And I just also personally want to welcome Ian, looking forward to working with you. And I too want to thank Priscilla for her years of service and her dedication too. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
that's right. The other meeting was a brief meeting, so I'm sure not too many people listened in. Okay, next on the agenda, we have a public hearing for a logging permit. Mike, do you have the legal notice?
Yes, I do. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 132, Section 40 through 46, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Sturbridge will hold a public hearing on the petition of James Dimalo for the logging permit for 43 acres of land on 17 and 30 Ladd Road, Sturbridge, Mass., owned by Matt Gagner. The hearing will be held on Monday, June 15th 2020 at 6:35 p.m. at the Sturbridge Town Hall, 308 Main Street, Sturbridge, Mass. The Sturbridge Board of Selectmen elect, consistent with Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 20, to hold the public hearing virtually. Details regarding how to virtually access the meeting can be found here at https www.sturbridge.gov/town administrator /pages and /how access virtual meeting.
Okay, Jim, do you want to give us a synopsis of what you intend on doing?
I'd love to do that. First of all, my name is James Dimalo. I'm a licensed forester, long-term, and I live at 96 Hunt Road, West Brookfield, and I represent Matt Gagner, who's the landowner. This is a 43-acre thinning along Ladd Road. All aquatic features. There's some pools, there's a marsh, there's some wetlands, there's some isolated wetlands, and there's one stream. They've all been flagged, and where there's filter strips, not only did I flag them, but I painted in blue stripe lines, so in case the flagging falls down, there's paint protecting all the aquatic features. There's along Ladd Road, there's the town-owned strip of land along Ladd Road. Then we have the 50-foot buffer zone, an aesthetic buffer zone, to ensure that there's high-quality aesthetics along Ladd Road. Basically, the project is to remove all the small deformed trees, as many as possible, in favor of the larger trees for the future. There's pine, there's oak. It's a mediocre at best forest, but we're trying to create this higher quality forest with larger trees and remove all the smaller, deformed, defective trees as possible. There'll be some saw logs, but the saw logs are about a little over 1,000 wood feet per acre, so it's going to be relatively nominal. A lot of firewood, a lot of pulp, and a lot of wood chips. Basically, that's the project. The landowner also, there was a ton of tires out there, hundreds of them. He's already picked them up. And the plan is, because there's so many invasive species, very judiciously, he's going to treat the invasive species very carefully. That's the project.
Okay, any questions from the board?
This is Mike. Initially, the permit for this project was not approved, and could you explain what changed so that the DCR finally approved the project?
Yeah, I used some terminology that they wanted me to improve the terminology. I excluded a number of areas because Mr. Gagner was applying on a separate process to create some fields and rejuvenate some agricultural fields. And I used the word not applicable, okay, that the cutting plan said these areas were not applicable to the cutting plan. They wanted me to use the word excluded from the cutting plan, okay? There was a couple, they're isolated wetlands. These are very small areas, and I had flagged them, but I hadn't mapped them. I hadn't put them on a map, and these are very small, tiny areas, and so they had me map them. There's a long-term, very old road, access road, that goes on adjacent to Ladd Road, and it cuts across a wetland, and there's a small pipe there, and I didn't put that as a crossing, even though it's an established road. and DCR wanted me to put the, that on the map. It was a crossing, even though it's established pipe. I've never done that before. I've been doing this for decades, and DCR has never asked me on an existing woods road with a culvert to put that as a crossing, so I did that. There was some, they wanted me to clarify that there's a marsh, and there is some steeper portion of the property, and they wanted to increase the buffer zone from what I originally had. And so I have a 100-foot buffer zone from the marsh, which Mr. Gagnon was not going to harvest that area anyways. And I think basically those are the adjustments I made to get the plan approved.
Very good.
Okay, Mike. Hey, Mr. Dimalo, I'm glad
Yep.
you clarified that it was the state and not the town that had you redo it after a rejection at first. Okay. Have you read the conditions that the Conservation Commission would like to add to our normal conditions?
The only condition they told me is because of the steeper slopes, they want to have more involvement in monitoring the timber sale. That's the only thing that when I went to the meeting, that was the only condition that they gave me. I know of no other condition other than that they want to have an increased monitoring during the implementation of the forest cutting plan.
Well, they do want to review and approve the herbicide treatment. Is that
Okay.
mentioned?
No, they never said that. That's not a problem.
Okay. And they want a monitoring plan to be submitted to the Concom prior to harvest.
A monitoring plan?
Yes.
Is a plan for me to monitor, or who's going to monitor? I'm not.
You know, Mary, it might
Mary?
be useful. Yeah, I just want to buttress what you're saying. It might be useful if he actually receives a copy of what we received from the Conservation Commission, which really sets forth in great detail what they want. He doesn't have it. And most of what they want's in that last paragraph. Any plan changes, having a designated person as the agent, etc. I don't know. Did you receive this?
No,
Document?
at the meeting, I'm kind of surprised because at the meeting, and the Conservation Commission voted that the only requirement is they wanted the board of the commission to have an increased role in monitoring the timber sale. And I said that's not. I welcome that, but there was no other condition mentioned or voted on. To be honest. So this is kind of a surprise to me. Now I have received no other correspondence from the Conservation Commission.
Andrea, maybe can you speak quickly?
Sorry, you cut out. Can I do what quickly?
Page 11 of our packet. Maybe you.
Yeah.
I can bring it up if you want.
That would be useful.
Or page 5 has it bulleted instead of paragraph form.
Oh, okay.
Jim, can you see that?
Yep.
These requested actions, these bullet points down here, the herbicide, a monitoring plan be submitted, the boundaries of the adjacent properties be demarcated, notification of any changes, and authorization for the conservation agent to visit the work sites. So that's what the Concom wanted.
I'll be on. If this is what we need to do to comply, but they know, and this was never brought. the only thing that was brought up at the meeting, and I have a pretty good memory, was that they wanted an increased role in monitoring.
I understand, but this
So
is,
if this,
So this is what they forwarded to us, Mr. Dimalo.
okay. Yeah, that's fine. If I can get a copy of that, then, we'll comply.
okay.
Okay, does the board have any other comments or questions? Okay, it is a public hearing, so
Let me check and see if anybody's on the phone.
anyone call?
Good evening, this is a public hearing for the 17 and 30 Lad Road logging permit. Is there anyone on the call who'd like to speak? Is there anyone on the call who'd like to speak about the logging permit? There's no one on the public line, and there's no emails received on this topic.
Okay, is there a motion then to close the public hearing?
So moved. Mary.
Second. Mike?
Okay, how do you vote, Ian?
Yes.
Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Faith, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mike, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, and I vote yes. Okay, then do we have a motion on the application?
I'll make a motion that we approve the logging permit for 17 and 30 Lad Road, subject to the conditions set forth on the June 10th, 2020 memorandum to the Board of Selectmen of requested actions for the Conservation Commission.
Second. Mike?
Okay, Ian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Faith, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mike, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, and I vote yes. Okay, thank you, Jim, for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Andrea sent me that notification from the other requirements.
Yes, I will.
She will.
Okay. Hey, thank you very much.
Well,
Appreciate
good
it.
night.
You're welcome, thank you.
Good night.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have a 7 o'clock, and I have 7 o'clock. Jeff, do you have 7?
I have 1 minute to 7. So,
By the time we read the notice, it will be 7.
okay.
And
Okay.
we have a request, it's a public hearing for amendment of liquor license for Thai Place. Mike, could you read the public notice, please?
In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 138, the Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Monday, June 15th at 7 p.m. regarding the change of category of a liquor license and transfer of license filed by Chimin Ben Khan of 99 Pond Corporation at 371 Main Street, Sturbridge, Mass. This hearing will be held at Veterans Memorial Hall, Sturbridge Town Hall, 308 Main Street, Sturbridge, Mass. The Board of Selectmen, or the Select Board, elect, consistent with Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, to hold a public hearing virtually. Details regarding how to virtually access a meeting can be found here at https www.sturbridge.gov.town-administrator/pages/how-access-virtual-meeting.
Okay, is there someone here representing the Thai restaurant?
Yeah, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'm Attorney David Bartley.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. Real honor to be before you, especially fellow elected officials. So I'm the attorney for Thai Place. Just as a reference, I'm a city councilor in Holyoke, and so it's a real pleasure to be with you, frankly. And I have with me Debbie and Cody from the Thai Place, and essentially the application speaks for itself. I'm not sure what if I should just summarize it. Summarizing it, they're looking for an all alcohol license. They're looking to change the license from the license holder from Insabit Vangsangsa to Debbie Sundara, and then they're asking that Debbie be approved as a new manager, and that fourth and finally, they're looking to expand the service area to include a porch. The purpose for this is to grow the business. They've received approval from Old Sturbridge, and we're here before you. And any questions you can, Debbie and Cody can expand upon what I said, which is just the sheer basics, and we'll proceed accordingly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I noticed the approval for the porch is to be permanent, not just as long as the governor's restrictions are in place. However, they're also expanding inside, aren't they?
Cody? Debbie?
I'm waiting for the owner to respond. Cody?
He's muted.
Okay.
Hello, this is Cody. We expanded space to about 1,500 square foot more to the side of the Thai Place.
Yes, but that's not on this application. It needs to be added to the application. Anytime there's a expansion of premises, it has to come before the local licensing board for approval.
Oh, I put the total square footage there. I didn't, we can revise that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Madam Chair. That would have been my fault. I thought I put the total square footage on there.
Yes, it is.
It has to be, specific.
Okay.
There's a small map we have that's, really small, but.
Would it have been the second batch of materials there that I had emailed out? Because I had received from Mr. Bartley the additional items on Friday that I included in an email to you guys. I don't know if that was it.
I didn't print that out. That was mostly the lease agreement and different things.
I can resend that with the floor space and with the new expanded space.
Right, because it all needs to be approved. We can approve it with the caveat that information will come in, or we can put approval off. However, I'm sure you'd like to get working on it.
Yes, I can send that out. I can send that out tomorrow with the expanded space on the floor plan, indicating the new space.
Right. Mike, do you have any questions?
It seems like there's, different sections of this that we have to vote on. One is the transfer of the license, and then there's the expanded area. And so I don't know. I just like like to know what types of motions how we should break up the motions, or should we make it all one motion to approve or not approve?
Well, my suggestion.
Because there's several things going on here at one time. They're expanding the area, they were transferring the license, there's a new manager.
We have the,
No, I would be willing to take them as separate motions.
Separate motions? Okay, I'll make a motion to, number one, I guess we're transferring the existing license to 99 Pond Corporation. And I'll take that as one separate motion.
I thought we were trying to transfer the license to Debbie Sundara.
She would be the manager.
Well, I think, okay, page 48, it says for the license, transfer license to Debbie Sundara and appoint the same person as manager.
Okay.
Now, we transfer license to the corporation or the individual?
To the individual.
Okay. Yeah. So it's under other.
Okay. So the motion is to transfer the existing license to that's in the Thai Place restaurant to Debbie Sandera as manager.
Well,
Okay, so that's actually two motions.
transferring the license, taking our manager, we're doing both those votes in one.
Yeah, two bullets, transfer of license and change of manager.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay. I just have a question. Is Debbie TIP certified?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, how do you vote, Mike?
Yes.
How do you vote, Chase?
Yes.
Ian, how do you vote?
I'm going to abstain from the vote.
Okay. Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, Chase, I didn't skip you, did I?
No, you got it.
Okay, I vote yes. Okay, so then we need a motion to change the category of license from wine and malt to an all alcohol license.
I'll make a motion to change the wine and malt beverage license to all alcohol beverage license.
Second, Jake.
Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Mary, yes.
Ian, how do you vote?
Abstain from the vote.
Chase, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mike, how do you vote?
Yes. Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. Okay, next we need a motion on extending the service area to the porch permanently.
I'll make a motion to expand the serving area of the porch.
Will you make it subject to receiving the appropriate application for expansion?
Yes,
Well,
subject.
that's not, yeah, but that's not that one. That's, we already approved the porch under our grouping last week.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we waiting for, Mary?
That'll be another motion for,
Expansion.
alteration of the premises.
Okay. Sorry, Chase. I'll second Chase's original motion.
Okay, how do
Mary.
you vote, Mike?
Yes.
Chase, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, Ian, how do you vote?
Abstain from the vote.
Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, now we will need to have a motion approving the alteration of license contingent upon receiving the plan. Somebody want to make a motion to that effect?
Yeah, so moved, Chase.
Second, Mike.
Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ian, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Okay. And I vote yes. Okay, it's a public hearing, so
Let me check.
anyone on the phone, Jeff?
Let me check. Good evening. This is the public hearing on the application of the Thai Place for a change in license. Is anybody on the phone? Is anybody on the phone to speak at the public hearing for the application of the Thai Place for a change in their alcoholic beverage license? No one's on the phone, and there's been no emails on this topic.
Okay, is there a motion then to close the public hearing?
So moved, Mike.
Second, Chase.
Mary, how do you vote?
Mary, yes.
Ian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chase, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mike, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Botley, and others on the phone.
I just have
Thank
a
you very much.
question.
Have a good night.
You too.
Excuse me, sorry. I'm going to be sending this application to the ABCC, and of course, it needs to be signed. The local licensing authority form needs to be signed. I don't know how you guys want to go about that. I don't know. I mean, I only need 3 signatures, but it needs to go with the packet of information.
Andrea,
Well, we can,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Mary.
Well, no, if Andrea, if you want, I can swing by your house or make myself available at the town hall. I'm out and about quite a bit.
Okay.
I don't know.
Andrea, I can also do that.
I can
Someone else
do.
on the
Okay.
board going to be able to swing by?
I can swing by tomorrow and do it.
Okay, so I can
You
have,
ready?
Are you,
yeah, maybe I can have Jeff print the,
Jeff?
are you gonna swing by town hall?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can just text me when you're on your way, that way I'll have it ready and be downstairs for you, please.
Okay.
Is it going to be ready in the morning, Jeff, or should we come in the afternoon?
I will have it ready first thing in the morning.
Okay.
That beats me. Okay. Okay, next on the
Great,
agenda.
thank you.
we have-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have department reports, fire department, Chief Grasso. Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening. First of all, congratulations, Madam Chair, and congratulations, Mr. Dunnigan, and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
You have, I believe you should have, anyways, 3 months worth of reports. I wasn't sure if I had included March the last time we met, so I put those in there. And I think one of the things that's interesting to note is, as much as we all felt, we in the department felt that our call volume had declined, the numbers are fairly consistent from month to month, with March probably being the highest month prior to really the big shutdown. But our average was pretty much consistent across the board. We certainly did see a roller coaster effect on the number of sick calls and the number of COVID cases that we were responding to, and those have seemed to level out as well now. And in fact, they're significantly less of those types of calls that we're going on. My concern is that we in Sturbridge and the Commonwealth are going to see another spike, just like some of the other states are starting to see. And because of that, we're remaining diligent and we're doing everything we can to stay focused on the precautions that we've begun to take or have been taking with regard to our PPE and our personal hygiene, et cetera, et cetera. To that end, I've tried to leverage any opportunity I can to have the apparatus sanitized as well as the building sanitized. This last week, we had a company called Redline, which is owned by a firefighter, come in and actually do a thorough cleaning of all of our turnout gear, including our boots, gloves, hoods, and helmets. They were here for an entire day, and they came back today and decontaminated every piece of apparatus, every patrol car, and the entire building, all at no cost to the town. The program is funded by the Last Call Foundation, which is a foundation set up, I believe the Boston firefighters set this foundation up, but they have pledged a significant amount of money to do this for fire departments across the Commonwealth. So we were very fortunate to be able to schedule them not only once but twice to come back and do the entire building. And I also want to thank Interim Chief Desert for his cooperation in allowing us to get into the police department side and the cell block and also all of their patrol cars. So, we're focused on our mission, which is to provide the highest level of service we can to the community. And we continue to stay prepared to do that. And I'm proud of the work that the department is doing and has done throughout this entire craziness, for lack of a better term.
Okay, any questions from the board? No questions? So everything's running smoothly?
Fortunately, knock on wood, yes. We have been very fortunate. At the beginning of probably the third or fourth week in March, we had a little bit of a scare with some people who became ill. No one thankfully tested positive. Everyone tested negative. And really, since the end of March, beginning of April, we haven't had any episodes with any of the personnel in the fire department. So I'm very pleased with that. In addition to that, our supply chains seem to be opening up a little bit more. Where 2 months ago we were having trouble getting rubber gloves, that seems to be a lot less of a project now. So things are getting, I'll say back to normal, but with an asterisk. Up until recently, I have been kind of opposed to getting involved with public parades and those kind of events. I was asked this past week to consider a drive-by of the Common this week for Bill Emmerich, who's from what I'm told, retiring from Burgess after almost 40 years of service. And in conversation with, again, Interim Chief Desert, we agreed that this was probably the beginning of when we could allow our staffs to be part of this type of an event. I do caution that we have a mission to complete, and we can't be participating all the time, but this was something that we felt was important enough for the entire community, so we will participate in that.
And I'll
Chief, I do thoroughly agree with that one. Bill's given 37 years at Burgess. He knows thousands of children. He's well-liked and admired, and I feel bad for Bill in a way. He always was the MC at everyone else's retirement parties and did a great job, and everybody was looking forward to roasting him, but it'll be nice.
Yep.
And he's also former selectman as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
My pleasure. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh, wait a minute, Mary does have a question.
No, I'm glad things are going well in terms of COVID. How many people in all needed to be tested in the fire department?
I believe we had 5 over the last 2 months.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you too, Chief. Okay, next on the agenda, we have a police department report, interim Chief Desert.
Good evening, and I'll echo Chief Grasso's congratulations to you, Madam Chair, and also congratulations to Ian Dunnigan.
Okay, thank you.
Tonight I'll present to you April and May's report. Operationally speaking, comparing it to last year, we're seeing a change in our numbers. Working through the pandemic here, being short a little bit on staffing, I can see the difference in the numbers from 2019 to 2020. I do see the business and house checks on the rise because the officers, it's not a person-to-person contact, and they're still out there doing what they're supposed to do. Our training has gone April, end of March, April, May. A lot of training has been canceled, so we're sticking to the Municipal Police Institute online training. And our guys are still attending in-service training, and we're some various other online webinars. May, Sergeant Payne and Officer Jansen, I think they did just a great job getting together with the Cable Advisory Committee and putting out a nice video for the community regarding scams, and that went over very well. May, we also resumed our boat patrols, conducted 27 boat inspections, and if you have any other questions on April or May, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, questions from anyone? Hey, Chief, I know. Oh, Mary, you have a question?
I don't have a question. I have a comment, so I'll wait until the end of the question period. Go ahead.
I just had a question or maybe a comment. I noticed that domestics seem up and mental health issues seem up. Would you attribute that to the virus?
That would be, without doing a complete analysis, that would be my educated guess, just thinking that there's people are home spending more time together, not having a chance to get out into the public and go do their normal day-to-day life. I think it probably gets to people at times, and that might be uptick that we're seeing with both of those.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I thought, but I just thought I'd get your opinion on it too. Mary, you had a comment?
No, I did. I did, Chief. I don't know if you were on at the beginning of announcements, but I think the organizers of the June 4th peaceful demonstration, as well as you and all the police department participants. And I thought that's America at its best. I did read in the paper where you said that you stood in solidarity with the peaceful vigil against police brutality. And I just want to thank you and say that I'm very proud to be a resident of our town and to have you at the helm.
I appreciate that. Thank you for recognizing that. I do want to say it was a collaborative effort, without a doubt, working with the organizers, working with Jeff Bridges. We all stayed in contact, working with reaching out to the school department heads, just trying to make sure we're all on the same page going forward. And the end result was ended up being very good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chief. Have a good night.
Thanks. You as well. Take care. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Okay, next on the agenda we have Town Administrator's Report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I sent out an email late last week with some information. I think, as we return to more normal activity, and we'll cover a little bit more in the COVID report later on. I did mention that there is a large project right on the town line with Charlton that will have traffic impacts. Gene Boubon has submitted some comments. I think I provided you copies of those comments, and we'll have to evaluate where that goes in terms of level of service for certain intersections in Sturbridge based upon the traffic from that rather large facility. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Most of the offices are staffed. Some people are still working from home by choice or by design. But things are moving along. The boards and committees have been meeting virtually and getting the hang of it. But we are ready to reopen to the public, at least limited, and we can cover more of that when we get to the COVID report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions from the board?
I do want to thank Jean, Todd Miller, the new Economic Development Coordinator, Nelson, Chief Grasso, and Lieutenant Marinelli, and the Police Department, Earl Desert, for basically going door to door in the business community, making sure those businesses that could open, that wanted to open, could get their tent permits and get themselves set up. That was a massive effort by that group of people, and I can't congratulate them and thank them enough for making that happen. So a job well done by that group of people to start the rebuilding of some of these people's lives economically. So well done.
Okay, good job. Okay, next on the agenda we have action items. The first one is reappointment. Normally what we do is we read through. If you have any questions on anyone, just say hold, and then at the end we'll reappoint all those that are not held. A principal assessor, Ian Murphy, building inspectors, Peter Starkus, plumbing and gas, Paul Mazikas, plumbing and gas, and to be actually assistant inspector, Clyde Gadman, electricity, DPW, Brian Kerboy, David Mitchell, Andrew Zumulus, John Booth, Brian McRoy, emergency management coordinator, David Deming, finance director, Barbara Barry, town accountant, Christopher Garrity, fire department, John Grasso, Eric Riendo, Stephen Joyce, Tina Kruzik, Ryan Mullen, town planner, Gene Boubon, police department, Larry Bateman, Barbara Boito, Garrett Dana, Earl Desert, Jeffrey LaValle, I believe he has 2 L's in his name.
Oh, sorry.
Thomas Giordano, Daniel Hemingway, Tanya Maloney, Melissa Palmer, Safety Committee, Butch Jackson, DPW Director, Zoning Board of Appeals, Michael Young, Capital Planning Committee, Jeff Bridges, Town Administrator, Gene Boubon, Town Planner, Kathy Neal, Chair, Finance Committee, Butch Jackson, DPW Director, John Grasso, Fire Chief, and Town Council, KP Law. Okay, any questions on any of those?
I'd like to make a motion to concur with the appointments as listed.
Okay, that was Mike.
Aye.
Second,
There
Chase.
is something. Hey, Andrew, did you hear Chase? I think I overrode him.
I heard Chase, yep.
Okay. Hey, Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mike, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chase, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Jeff, is that all of them, or are there a few more?
There'll be more as the boards and committees get back to me with people that don't want to be reappointed or new membership. or people that want to be reappointed. So there'll be more over the next couple meetings. We've gotten some interest from some new people that I want to meet with before I bring them to you as well. So there'll be more.
Okay, thank you.
Not staff level, more boards and committee level.
Sure. Okay, next we have consideration, possible action on farmers market, adjustment to restrictions. Okay, Jeff.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. The farmers market has begun. It's been a tremendous success. They've enjoyed terrific weather for the 2 days they've been open, and based upon the operations of the first market and the guidelines that were adopted to provide maximum COVID-related separation and support, the farmers market volunteers are back to kind of adjust some things given the space allocated for the market. They'd like to increase the number of people inside the market at any one time. Caitlin, the market manager, is with us this evening to go over that request and answer any questions.
Hi, everybody. First, just like to comment on how great the first two markets have gone. We received positive feedback from both the vendors and the community. We've had no issues with the compliance. And I'm just so thankful for all our volunteers for the work and extra hours they've put into getting this market up and running, and also the town of Sturbridge for all the help we've received from them, and especially the DPW for getting the perimeter set up for us. As the guidelines are now, we are limited to allowing 40 people at one time into the market. By still following the state guidelines, we'd like to increase this number to 70. What we noticed was we did have a line outside and a lot of unused space inside the market. By allowing more people in and limiting the line, we'd be able to better monitor social distancing inside the perimeters versus outside of the perimeters.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, this proposal increases the maximum number of people from on the town common inside the perimeter from 40 to 70, I understand. Is that correct, Caitlin?
Yes. Yes, that's correct. And that's still following the state guidelines of, I believe it's 100 people for every, hold on just a second, I'm sorry. No more than 10 to 15 customers per 1,000 square feet. And our volunteer that did the math for us, we have more room, but we're comfortable with allowing 70.
Anyone else?
I just want to
have a. Oh no, go ahead.
No, I went to the last two markets, Caitlin, and I just want to say a real professional job making sure that all the COVID requirements were in place. I thought it was a really professional job. I know it requires a lot of work, so I support this. I noticed that the health agent has signed off on it, so that's pretty much all I need. We're consistent with the state guidelines, and we have our local Board of Health sign off, so I'm comfortable.
Okay, Caitlin, did you have something to say?
No, just I did forget to add, which Mary just did, that we do have the Board of Health's approval on this to allow more people.
Yes, you did get his letter, right?
I received an email from him. He was going to print out an official statement, I believe, on the letterhead for us. I have not received that, but we do have in email though his permission.
Right, that's right, because we received that. He supports the increase in the number of people and also the portable toilet. Okay, some of the other modifications he wasn't comfortable with yet. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Does somebody else have a question or a comment? Somebody want to make a motion then?
If not, I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Selectmen Approve the amended Sturbridge Farmers Market guidelines as requested.
From 40 to 70 people.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Okay.
Here a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, that was Ian. Okay, any discussion? Mary, how do you vote?
Mary, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Ian,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes?
and I vote yes. Okay, thank you, Caitlin.
I have one more request from the selectmen as well. Since the state and local restrictions and guidelines are changing daily, we are requesting that going forward, the Sturbridge Farmers Market Committee is permitted to adjust our guidelines as needed in compliance with the Sturbridge Board of Health. This allows us to make changes quickly for upcoming markets. And of course, we would do this only with permission from Ken from the Board of Health going forward.
Well, that sounds reasonable, seeing as the Board of Selectmen only meet twice a month usually. Anyone else have a comment?
I also don't have a problem with it, but I do want the Board of Health agents written approval as opposed to, and I'm not saying it would be this way, but as opposed to a drop-in or a phone call where he says, yeah, go ahead. I'd like it to be at least in an email.
Absolutely, yes. We will get written confirmation for any changes that we have made.
Awesome. And then if Jeff can just copy us and send it to us, that would be good.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion that the farmers market volunteers are able to modify the farmers market consistent with any changing state guidelines, subject to getting written approval from the health agent with respect to any change, and to notify the selectmen as to what those changes are.
Second, Mike.
Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ace, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mike, how do you vote?
Yes? Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you very much for your support.
Okay, next we have consideration and possible action on tax increment financing agreement with New England Cold Storage. Jeff, you want to explain that one, please?
Yes, thank you. Earlier in the year, the board had approved an agreement with New England Cold for a tax increment financing tax incentive agreement for their proposed facility that was at the time 3.15 million cubic feet. It's important to note that cubic feet is used because it's about storage capacity at this facility rather than square footage. Recently, the owners have approached the town about increasing the size as they begin to market the space. They are hearing from their community, who they deal with, that they probably need more space, but they haven't settled on a size yet. And of course, any modifications would have to go back through the Planning and Zoning Department and possibly the Planning Board for approval. But this agreement, which is on the warrant for approval at the end of the month, specifies a certain square footage at 3.15, and we know today that that won't be the square footage. So after discussing this with town council, we are proposing that we insert in that agreement the word "or greater," which would allow for a larger facility but not a smaller one. The smaller one would impact the economics of the incentive package rather than a larger facility long-term would, of course, have more return overall than the 3.15. So we recommend adding the words "or greater" in the agreement, and in the section that talks about the employees, specifying at least 18 employees, which is the 18 number was in the original agreement. We would have to talk to the moderator prior to town meeting about making sure that these changes are known and available for people to review as we discuss the warrant. And when that warrant comes up, make sure the town meeting people who are there to vote know that it's or greater than the 3.15.
Okay, Jeff, I foresee a slight problem. That or greater leaves it indefinite. Usually, we have a cap, not more than. That or greater is really open-ended.
Well, the size of the facility is going to be limited by the zoning regulations and what the planning and zoning would account for. We don't know if this is a 5% greater or a 30% greater facility at this point. We just know it's not going to be 3.15 million cubic feet. But again, the limitation factor is more from a planning and zoning perspective than an economic development perspective or an economic incentive perspective.
That's true, but looking at the zoning, there should be some way to determine by the zoning what the largest would be. I mean, I'm just saying, we don't usually just leave something open-ended. But you can talk to the town moderator and see what he says.
I know, I agree with Mary. We wouldn't want it to get voted down because it was too open-ended. You never know. With the town meeting, can be unpredictable. So, like Mary suggested, if we can figure out what the maximum zoning would be and we put that as the upper limit, or 3.15 or greater, subject to zoning restrictions or something. Because there could be some residents that want the sky is the limit on that.
I would recommend that language subject to subject to approval by the Planning and Zoning Committee.
I missed part of what you said, Jeff.
I would say, or greater, subject to the limitations as approved by the Planning and Zoning Committee.
Yeah, just some language in there that we know it's not just
Okay.
sky is high.
Would adding that language be acceptable?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I would say that, anything that would be more beneficial to the town would be considered, hopefully, by the town moderator, rather than if we were downsizing it would be more restrictive. So this the concept of increasing it to the benefit of the town would be fine, or should be fine, and stating an upper limit on how big it could be. Hopefully that won't present a problem to the moderator. It's part of the reality of developing any property that there's a maximum size building that you can put on it. So that's but I think the wording there should be good. Hopefully, working with the town moderator, I would like to give the town administrator a little bit of flexibility on the exact wording, because the final call on how this article is might be accepted would be the town moderator, I believe.
Hey, Jeff, what wording did you suggest?
I suggested 3.15 million cubic foot or greater, subject to the limitations of the Planning and Zoning Board, cold storage facility. Something like that.
Good.
Yeah.
Or as close to it. So does somebody want to make a motion to that effect?
So moved.
I'll second Chase's motion.
Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Mary, yes.
Ian? Oops.
Ian, can you say that again, Ian? We're not hearing.
We can't hear you.
Okay, try again, Ian, okay?
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
I vote yes.
Mike?
And I vote yes as well.
And I vote yes. Okay,
And
next
was
we
it-
have,
Mike made the motion, and who was the second?
No, I think Chase made the motion and Mike seconded it. Is that
Okay.
correct, Chase?
That's correct, yep.
Thank you.
okay, next we have consideration and possible action on schedule adjustment for July 4th holiday. Yes?
Yes, we briefly got into this before the COVID issue hit us, and we never got a chance to circle back. But with the July 4th holiday this year falling on a Saturday, we observe, per the town's guidelines, we observe on the prior Friday. If it had fallen on a Sunday, we would have observed on the Monday. But with the Friday being a 4-hour holiday, for many of the town employees, we need to add 3 hours of holiday time on another day. So we're recommending Thursday afternoon, 3 hours with the Friday off. And that would be our recommendation, to provide the 7 hours of holiday time for those employees that have a 4-hour schedule on Friday.
That sounds reasonable to me.
Okay, any comments or questions?
Someone's
Somebody
dog
want to
liked
make a
it.
motion?
I'll make a motion that we institute a holiday schedule for July 4th with 3 hours vacation, 3 hours holiday on Thursday, July 3rd, and July 4th as a holiday as well.
No, I'll second the motion.
That will fit, yeah, just change the date, Thursday's the 2nd.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Friday,
The 3rd.
Friday.
Okay, as amended, Andrea.
Okay.
Chase, did you second that?
Ian did, I believe.
Okay, Mike, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chase, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, next we have consideration, possible action on the expenditure of $10,174 from the Wetlands Protection Fund for the fiscal year 2021. Okay, Jeff?
Thank you, Madam Chair and Selectmen. With the proposed budget before you, there was an a request that $10,174 be expended from the Wetlands Protection Fund for administrative costs, basically to add hours or increase the number of hours that the administrative assistant to the conservation agent could work. Those hours have been limited, and we want to ramp up those hours to provide more coverage in the office administratively and allow the agent, who is very busy with field inspections and prep for meetings and more technical stuff is part of her job, and to allow the administrative assistant to do her job and be more effective in the fulfillment of their duties. To do that, we would like to expend $10,174 from the Wetlands Protection Fund.
Okay, questions or comments? Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure of $10,174 from the Wetlands Protection Fund for fiscal year 2021 to fund a portion of the salary of the Conservation Department's Administrative Assistant, Chase.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. That was Ian.
Yes.
Mary? Yes. So we have to give our names. It'll be so much easier, Ian, when we're back in town hall.
Okay.
Hey, Mary, how do you vote, Mary?
Mary, yes.
Ian, how do you vote?
Ian, yes.
Chase?
Chase, yes.
Mike?
Mike, yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have consideration and possible action on the renewal of injured on duty insurance for the Sturbridge Police and Fire. Jeff?
Thank you, Madam Chair and Selectmen. In Massachusetts, there's no traditional workers' compensation insurance for police and firefighters. So we engage and purchase what's called injured on duty insurance. It's a modified medical plan that provides support to injured firefighters and police officers. It's up for renewal. The renewal amount for next year is $66,588, slightly higher than the current year premium. We're at a 54% premium to expense ratio, or expense to premium ratio, which puts us kind of on the losing side of the deal, and that increases our rates a little bit. So this is through Maya. Maya purchases policies through Chubb Insurance for IOD. We've been very well served through this program in the past, and we would recommend continuing in the future. This not only covers active or full-time firefighters, but it also covers the part-time and any volunteers we have in the departments.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we renew our injured on duty insurance for the Sturbridge Police and Fire Department for fiscal year 2021.
Okay, do you want to add with Maya for
Oh, I'm sorry.
$66,188?
Yes, with Maya as the insurance carrier.
Seconded by Mike.
Okay, Ian, how do you vote?
Ian, yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Chase?
Chase, yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, next we have consideration and possible action on approving the 1/12 budget for fiscal year 2021. Jeff?
Thank you, Madam Chair and Selectmen. I would ask Barbara Berry, Finance Director, to walk you through this agenda item. Barbara?
Hi, everybody. You have before you several documents. One is a memo from me, and then one is budgets for the general fund, the water, sewer, local access, STA, and CPA. And although we are going to town meeting on June 29th, out of an abundance of caution, I just want to make sure that we have steps in place so that if something were to happen and town meeting did not happen on June 29th, that we could basically open the doors and operate on July 1st. And the only way that a town can do that is to either hold town meeting or approve a 1/12 budget. And a 1/12 budget isn't really a 1/12 budget, but what the documents in front of you reflect are what the expenses that each department, and Chris and I have reviewed those requests, what those departments will need in order to be able to operate for the month of July if for some reason town meeting is postponed. If town meeting happens on June 29th, then this will not have to be put in place. But one of the mechanisms to do this is approval of the documents as we've submitted them to the board for your review, and then we have to actually submit those to the Department of Revenue for their approval. And so we have a short window to get everything approved. So hopefully tonight, all you are doing basically is approving the spending plan that we've outlined, and then the clerk of the board will have to certify that a vote to approve the plan was properly taken, and then we'll forward everything off to the DOR for their approval. Anyone has any questions about what was attached or given to you, I would be more than happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions?
Just for clarification, it's 1/12 of the FY fiscal year 2020 budget is what we're approving.
So it's based on the 2020 budget in most cases. However, the state recognizes the fact that on July 1st, some items actually increase. So, for instance, we have several debt payments that will be taking place in the month of July. So the budget as presented actually shows the exact amount of a debt payment because you don't want to default on a loan. We also have some, like our Worcester Regional Retirement assessment is due in July. So the 1/12 budget that was submitted to you reflects what that actual payment will be. And then it also reflects, like as far as general insurance, it reflects premiums that we know will be due in July. So the directive from the state basically is to submit based on costs that you know need to be paid in the month of July. So it is based on, in most instances, the approved budget of 2020. But for those things that cannot, we've made adjustments to the higher numbers.
Any other questions? Barbara, I know the water and sewer is in here. It's just that on page 202 at the sewer.
I don't have your full packet, so I'm not sure what page that is.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's the sewer budget, Barbara.
Okay, thank you. Give me one sec.
Actually, it's the water, right? 202 is the water.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, Mary, what was your question?
The billing expense?
Well, I know one's the sewer and one's the water. It just didn't specify. So unless you know what sludge is. Okay. So 203 is the sewer, right?
202 is the water.
Yeah.
But, yeah, 203 is sewer.
Yep. Okay.
What's 204, Jeff?
204, I would say, is STA, right? No, 204 would be...
No, they wouldn't have longevity.
204, what's...
That would be the cable budget.
Oh, local access television, yeah. And then 205 would be STA, and then CPC would be 206.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Anything else for Barbara? Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
I would like to make a motion that the town of Sturbridge adopt the 1/12 spending plan for July of 2020.
Second, Chase.
Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Mary, yes.
Ian?
Ian, yes.
Chase?
Chase, yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, next on the agenda, we have old business. Jeff, COVID update?
Yes, thank you. We have gone through the guidance and the process and all those documents we reviewed with the board several weeks ago. We've gotten the PPE distributed. We've done the proper signage. We have people to contact trace at the doors, ready to go for town hall and COB. And barring any concerns expressed this evening, we are proposing to reopen to the public on a limited basis starting tomorrow. The limited basis would be 10 to 2, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we would propose to keep that schedule in place until after the July 4th holiday and reevaluate at that time where we are statewide as well as where we are locally. The limited schedule provides us an opportunity to sanitize the areas after each day and basically see how this works out with the limited access to the public. But that would be our proposal this evening.
Any questions, comments?
This would only be for town hall and COB. The senior center and the library are on their own schedule, and they're still not open to the public, although they begin to offer programs and have functions outside their buildings in open air. The dog likes it. It's all right.
Must be Mary.
It's mine, yeah, he's sorry. Well, we're winding down, so.
Any comments or questions?
I think it sounds like a reasonable approach.
Thank you.
Okay. Jeff, would you like a motion to that?
Yes, if that way we can have some, guidance and everybody's assured that's where we're going. And again, hold it in place till after the July 4th holiday and reevaluate, please.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
Just one more comment. This would allow also, and I don't hate to throw things in at the last minute, this would allow by appointment also, if there's someone who needs an appointment that can't be accommodated in 10 to 2, we can look at those on a case-by-case basis. We've set up limited areas for appointments. They're not to be through the entire building. For instance, the Julian room, since it's connected to the elevator, we can bring someone up to the Julian room. They won't engage in the rest of the building and just go right in the Julian room, then back down the elevator or out the exit and not mix in the general area of the building and still come in that handicap accessible door. So we have made plans in case there is appointments to be had, and that would be for appointments at COB as well. If there's appointments to be had where we need to meet face-to-face, that room provides us enough space and it can be separated from the rest of the buildings and the rest of the employees in the building.
Okay, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we reopen the center office building and town hall to the public, consistent with the description from our town administrator, opening Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 to 2, and also by appointment, and to reevaluate the schedule following the July 4th holiday.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Mike.
Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Mary, yes.
Ian?
Ian, yes.
Case?
Case, yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you.
Old business then, Mike?
No, I don't have old business.
Case?
I have no old.
Ian?
No.
Mary?
Did you say me?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to revisit so I don't drop the ball. I had wanted to set an agenda item for looking at the process for the town administrator's evaluation, but I'm going to just suggest now that it would be one of the topics that we cover in our retreat in January, because I think that'll give plenty of time if we do make any changes. And also to get input from everybody. I know our town administrator wasn't pleased with the process we used, so I want to suggest that we move it, instead of having an agenda item that I requested, that we move it to our retreat. So that's, I'm just saying, I just wanted to follow up because I know I was requesting an agenda item, but I'm going to put it off for now. And also, I did, consistent with the evaluation process, receive a telephone call from a resident who also watched and believes that the process we follow is not as fair as it could be in terms of getting input. And I said that from our administrator, and I said that without mentioning this person's name, that I would let people know that I did get a call from a gentleman. So, I mean, I was going to suggest talking about it anyway, but I just thought I'd combine that.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Okay, any old business? Ian?
That's it.
No.
Okay,
No.
Mike, you said no.
Yeah, I had said no, but something just came to my mind. Whatever happened with the elevator agreement? Did it was supposed to come back to the board? Did it at the last meeting, or is it still pending, or what's up with that?
It's still pending. Robin is soliciting quotes from other companies. Looking at the records, this really has never been bid since at least 2012. So we anticipate having that back on the agenda for your next meeting.
Hey, glad I gave you time, Mike, because I had that listed.
Oh,
Gave me
okay.
trouble. Okay, next we have new business. Mary?
No new business.
Ian?
No.
Okay,
No.
Mike?
Yeah, just within the last few days, Mass DOT and the bar, like as in bar, like the Attorney General, they've announced, the Bar Foundation and Mass DOT announced the grant program for sidewalks and parking, and it's specifically designed to help restaurants with outside facilities during this pandemic, the COVID crisis. The communities are eligible for up to $300,000 in a grant money to do temporary or permanent sidewalk improvements and parking lot improvements. It seems like we might have an area of town that might benefit from this grant program. So I would like the board to, if it's a consensus of the board, to ask the town administrator to have someone look into it and see if it's something that the town might benefit from.
Well, sounds good. Jeff?
Yes, and Mike, that's a great point. When that was announced last week, I asked Todd Miller, the new Economic Development Coordinator, to pull that down and look at what we needed to do, and we began our planning process on that this morning. So great idea. We're on board, and we'll make application. And I think we're talking about the new parking lot on Main Street. We would look at that unless something else pops up between now and the time of application. But great point, thank you.
Okay, Chase, any new business?
I have no new, thank you.
Okay, Ian, new?
No new.
I already ran it. Gary?
I didn't have new, but now you already asked me once, but I'm going to say this.
I know, I lose track on the screen.
While I was sitting here, I feel like I just keep thanking people, but I also want to give a shout out to our town clerk, Lynn Gerard, and her assistant town clerk, Sheila, and everybody involved with the town election this year. I know there were a lot of complications, trying to honor COVID mitigation, and I thought they just did a great job. It was very professional. We all had, for those of you who did mail-in voting and didn't attend, it was really done very, very safely and very effectively. We had throwaway pens, a different way to exit, and I know it was a tremendous amount of work for them, so I just want to acknowledge it to the public that they did a great job.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have no new business. Correspondence, Mike?
Yes, we have two pieces of correspondence. On June 1st, we have a letter dated June 1st from Charter Communications regarding upcoming changes. And so there's going to be some changes to the lineup, and they've even rebranded the Tier 1 to, they're not going to call it Tier 1 anymore. It's going to be Cheddar. So we have to look forward to that. The second letter we received was Cooper Cog Lake Protective and Improvement Association letter thanking the Board of Selectmen for, or not the Board of Selectmen, excuse me, the Sturbridge DPW, and for work they did on Dan Road on Big Alum Lake. So thank you to the DPW for helping out. And those are the two pieces of correspondence.
Okay, there was just a typo on that. It's not a K, it's a P. Kapog. I didn't know it was Big Al.
I know that.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It's Big Al. Does anyone have any correspondence? Okay, approval of minutes. We have the minutes of June 1st. Any additions, corrections?
Wow. All right.
I do have a minor thing on under the consideration.
It's just so slow. I know. Go ahead.
Okay. It's on our page 216, but it's under consideration and possible authorization for Department of Environmental Protection Section 309 grant. It says Selectmen Suprenant the length of the project, and I asked about the length of the project, or just insert the word asked about.
Yeah, that's 8 lines down, Andrea.
In the, 8 lines down under that section.
Okay.
It just,
You got it.
that's the only thing I could find. I tried.
I'll put mine away before I find something. No, they were good meeting minutes. I'm just kidding.
Well, Andrea, I have a minor one on page 218.
I don't have my packet.
What is the subject?
It's under fiscal 21 budget adjustment. The second line down, it begins, he said not only are these expected drop-offs, instead of these, it should be there are expected drop-offs.
Okay.
Okay. That's it. Anyone else? Okay, motion to approve is amended.
So moved, Mike.
Second, Chase.
Hey, Mary, how do you vote?
Mary, yes.
Ian?
Ian, yes.
Well, you actually have to abstain. You weren't.
Oh, I wasn't there, so I can't confirm it. Exactly. I'll abstain. Sorry.
No problem. We all do this all the time. Chase?
Chase, yes.
Mike?
Yes, Mike.
And I vote yes. 4 yeses, 1 abstention. Okay, next we have Citizens Forum.
Let me check. Hello, this is the Citizens Forum portion of the Board of Selectmen meeting. Is there anyone on the phone who would like to speak? Is there anyone on the phone who would like to participate in the public forum? No callers on the line.
A adjournment. Is there someone willing to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Chase.
I'll second the motion to adjourn. Ian.
Mary, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Ian?
Ian, yes.
Hey,
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. It's time for me to go.
I vote yes.
Oh, Jeff.
Okay. Thank you all.
Wait, one
Have a
second.
great night,
One
everybody.
second.
Wait, Jeff's on. Jeff.
That passes. Something.
God bless.
Just a reminder that there's 3 of you that said you'd stop by in the morning to sign the alcohol license, so just a reminder to come by.
I think with me it'll be early afternoon.
We'll have it available for you. Just let me know when you're coming so it can be ready. Thank you.
Oh, and I won't forget, Jeff, but if it comes to the afternoon, feel free to text again, but I'm going to remember.
Okay,
Just telling you,
that's fine.
text us.
I
Thank
asked
you.
about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.